This is gonna be fun!
You wanna know how we got from this to this? And from this to this? Well, let me explain what happens in the first ever Twisted Metal video game from 1995. Let's meet Sweet Tooth's real father along with other characters, find out how it all started, and let's watch together some ending cutscenes that were so disturbing they decided to release them 10 years after the game premiere. The story takes place in Christmas year 2005. We are just a few moments from the start of the legendary competition called the Twisted Metal. Deep within the stronghold, far beneath the streets of Los Angeles, the contest's creator, called Calypso, watches and waits. He is prepared to pay the winner any prize he or she requests, no matter how rare, no matter how costly, no matter the consequences. So a dozen competitors have been personally selected by Calypso to combat in the 10th running of Twisted Metal. Assassins, mercenaries, vigilantes, professional drivers, white trash assholes, all are out there for one thing tonight: the chance to battle for their ultimate dream. And here they are! Needles Kane, aka Sweet Tooth. He used to be a mental facility patient. He entered Twisted Metal in hopes of gaining the one prize that means more to him than anything else in the world: his best friend. Yellow Jacket, aka Charlie Kane, an old and lonely cab driver from the streets of New York. He has entered Calypso's contest to learn what happened to his son, a young man who disappeared 20 years ago. Darkside, aka Mr. Ash, a ravenous creature who wants to get back what is rightfully his. He's hoping Calypso can help him retrieve an item so powerful it could destroy the world. Outlaw, aka Carl Roberts, a good cop gone mad. If he wins the tournament, he will force Calypso to put an end to Twisted Metal. Thumper, a passionate kid from the streets of LA. He's got one last chance to take back his neighborhood. Crimson Fury, aka Agent Stone, special agent going head-to-head with the US government in search of an item that could liberate the world. Pit Viper, aka Agent Amanda, a woman leading a double life. She is competing for $1 million in cash. Warthog, aka Commander Mason. He is working for the government. He's hoping Calypso can help him retrieve an item so powerful it could destroy the world. Mr. Grimm, a mysterious character we don't know nothing about, but he wants Calypso's soul as a prize. Spectre, aka Scott Campbell, restless spirit who hopes Calypso's contest can make him whole again. Hammerhead, two high school dropouts and a collection of hard rock CDs. What could possibly go wrong? Roadkill, aka Spears, an old army commando who lost his man in a savage jungle war. He's competing in hopes of changing the past. To win, Twisted Metal player must beat 6 arenas fighting different opponents every time. The first arena in the game is the arena, where the player and one opponent square off for the right to compete in Twisted Metal. Then player moves to LA's warehouse district for a battle with 3 different opponents. Next challenge takes part on the freeways, where 5 more opponents await. After freeways, we go to LA's River Park and battle 6 more opponents. And the next stage is the bloodiest battle of them all, the suburbs. Here the player must beat 8 different opponents. After that, there are rooftops, where only 3 await. And after the 3 remaining opponents are defeated, player stays on the rooftops to battle Minion, the winner of the previous contest. Defeating Minion means the player wins the contest and is granted an audience with Calypso, who is waiting on a car parts throne surrounded by bodyguards, and his face seems to be heavily burned. So let's see the endings for each character, but before we do, here's a little fan fact. The original game had prepared videos for all the characters' endings, but they actually didn't include them in the game, as they were found too disturbing back in the days. Later, they were relieved as a bonus content on Twisted Metal Head-On that came out in 2005. But I will show you to them right now, because what the 1995 game offered was just a text description of the ending for each character. Boring. But we need to remember, those videos are not canonical, so I will compare them to those endings that were actually released and pay attention to the differences so you don't get confused. So, Mr. Ash in the last video asks for Black, who is this weird creature which seems to be a lost demon, and Ash refers to it as he was his father. Then he takes Black, and that makes Calypso lose his temper, and turns out Ash is the devil himself, and he takes his demon back to hell. Because Black was his demon. You're following, right? And that's pretty much the same as the canonical text ending, only we need to point out that Calypso admits that the demon was the source of his mystical powers, and that's why he is in such agony as Ash head on the highway to hell. Outlaw. In the video, he wants to put an end to Twisted Metal, so Calypso fulfills his request, declaring that he will end Twisted Metal. But the declaration is tricky, as Calypso promises Outlaw he will now enter the world without the competition, but also makes it out of everything else, putting him in a black abyss. In the text ending, he is actually sent outer space, where he would endlessly drift away. Trumper. He requests back his girlfriend, who was kidnapped. Calypso also brings the mob leader who kidnapped her, but Trumper spares his life and drives away. That angers Calypso, who considers it anticlimactic and shoots the guy. In the canonical ending, he wants his neighborhood to be cleaned out of crime and become a safe place again. And Calypso gets the job done without any tricks. Agent Stone wants his black box in the last video. Calypso plays it, and it contains the proof that the civilian plane was shot down by alien spaceship, and US government doesn't want to be revealed. But Stone takes it and plans to show it to people. Also, it turns out that Commander died in Twisted Metal, trying to keep Stone from getting that box. Canonical text ending is the same in this case. Commander Mason video ending is about the same black box, only he wants the government to get it before it goes public. Calypso feels offended as Commander gets cocky, and he scares the hell out of him. In the text ending, he just takes the box and leaves. Pit Viper acts in the video like she only wanted the $1 million, but she uses the situation and tries to assassinate Calypso. As it turns out, she is a pro, and she was hired by the people of LA. And the text ending in the game tells the same story.
I've been paid by the people of LA to take you out, Calypso.
You know, if you really want to be an assassin, you should keep your eyes on your prey.
Mr. Green, in the last video ending, asks Calypso for his soul and gets it. The text ending in the game also reveals that he is actually a Grim Reaper who spent 100 years trying to capture that soul. Spectre wants to be brought to life as he's some kind of a ghost or something like that. He gets the blue elixir, and actually he gets what he asked for, but Calypso shoots him a few seconds after and tells him to try it next year. The text ending reveals that he has been a spirit for the last 5 years and he desperately wants his life back. It's also revealed that he has been stabbed by a maniacal serial killer at a local circus. But in this version, he gets his soul back and drives back home to his wife and daughter that actually was born few days after he died. Hammerhead. Well, actually, those guys didn't request nothing, but while chatting with Calypso, they figure out they will ask for babes. Yeah, babes. And that's what they get. In the canonical ending, they just ask for new set of tires because those characters are morons, clearly. But they get their new tires and leave, planning to take part in the next year's Twisted Metal. Roadkill was a commander in the military and he lost 25 of his men in the battlefield, so he wants to go back in time and save them. Calypso tries to explain to him that it's not that easy, but he doesn't want to listen, and we see him back in the jungle where he gets killed before he can save his platoon. And the same story is brought in the text as canonical ending, but also it adds a note that next day, back in 2005, two high school kids find his car in the middle of the dirt, and they steal it and use it to enter next year's contest. Okay, and probably the most recognizable character is Sweet Tooth, especially after this TV series, right? So, let's see what happens to him. Sweet Tooth asks for a paper bag. He considers it his best friend. The video ends with Sweet Tooth screaming now it's his time, and he pulls out the gun and starts to shoot, and everyone runs away. But a lady who sits tight on the passenger seat gets loose, takes a gun and gets Sweet Tooth at gunpoint, earning Calypso gratitude, and he offers her a place in his realm. But she refuses and decides just to steal Sweet Tooth's truck and leave. In the original game, after Sweet Tooth gets the bag, it is revealed that it's been 5 years since he escaped from a mental world, and inside the bag there actually is Crazy Harold, the wacky lunch snack. After sticking his hand in the bag, the clown just leaves the place searching for new victims. And last but not least, Yellow Jacket. In his last ending, he asks for another chance to drive more. Calypso is impressed by his skills, pointing out that the way he took out his own son, aka Sweet Tooth, was the best skills he has seen in years. And if you didn't figure it out yet, according to this plot, Sweet Tooth is his son. He says that soon he will die and he just wants one more chance to drive. But Calypso tells him he doesn't have to die and gives him some elixir. Cain drinks it and he gains immortality. Plus, Calypso offers him a job to drive around the world in search for drivers for next year's competitions. And that way he will never stop driving. In the canonical ending, Cain wants to know if his long-missing son is still alive. Calypso reveals, yeah, he's alive, but he's actually Sweet Tooth, who is a wanted serial killer. And it turns out Cain actually just killed his own son as part of Twisted Metal competition. As Cain leaves the place, he considers competing in another Twisted Metal, and next time he wants to ask Calypso to take away his suffering caused by what he just have learned. And that's how the game ends.